Hi everyone, I'm immigration attorney Anne Sedki, and today we are going to be talking about a very important topic, and that's how to avoid violating your visitor visa or B-2 visa to the United States. Now, this is a very common occurrence that I see in my office, so I thought it would be a really good topic to talk about today. But before we get into how to avoid violations, I'd like to talk very briefly about what the B1, B2 visa is. So the B1, B2 visa is generally a tourist visa that is given at a U.S. embassy for someone to come and visit the United States. Now, on the same visa that's issued, you can either come here as a B1 visitor or a B2 visitor. And what's the difference? The B1 is generally for people who are coming here for a business purpose. You're coming here for a business meeting or maybe a conference. B2 is the more generally used visa, and that's the one to come to the United States when you're coming to visit family or you're coming to visit a landmark in the United States and are just coming here to have fun. When you secure that B1, B2 visa, they are generally given for a period of about 5 years. And every time that you come into the United States, the immigration authorities at the airport will give you 6 months to come into the United States and stay here. So we will talk a little bit about how those 6 months are going to be very important on how to avoid any kind of violations. So we are talking about coming to the United States for a temporary purpose. So it's very important that when you are planning your visit to the United States, that you make sure that for whatever purpose that you're coming for, that you keep it within those 6 months at a time. Now, it's going to be very important that once those 6 months are coming to expiration, that you have plans to either leave the United States or change your status, or perhaps extend your B1, B2 visa status for an additional 6 months. Now, what are some of the things that we should avoid when we are coming here as a visitor? So, number one is, like we were saying, we don't want to overstay, meaning we do not want to stay more than 6 months at a time. It's very important that you have a plan as to what's going to happen when those 6 months expire. Because once you overstay your 6 months, you start to accrue something called unlawful presence in the United States. And what that means is that you have no legal status to remain in the United States. So if you start to accrue unlawful status, this could be detrimental to you in the future if you ever try to apply for another visa. Or if, for example, you are trying to apply for a green card. This means that if you stay more than 6 months above the original 6 months that you have, you can be barred from returning to the United States for a period of 3 years. This is known in immigration as a 3-year bar. Now, if you stay more than 1 year above the original 6 months that you were given, then you can be barred from returning to the United States for 10 years. This is known as the 10-year bar. So it is very important that you consult with an immigration attorney about whether you have a 3 or 10-year bar before you apply for anything in the United States. Now, what else could you avoid in order to not violate your B1, B2? Now, when someone is coming here as a visitor, it's very important that you are not authorized to work in the United States. Again, this is a very, very common mistake that many people do when they come to the United States. So if you're here for 6 months, that does not authorize you to work or to make money in the United States. And there is a way for the immigration services to actually find out if you've been working, especially if your employer is paying you in checks and there is a record of it. So it's one of the most common violations, and this is not authorized under any visitor visa status. What else can you do to avoid violating your B1, B2 status? The third would be do not enroll in school. Now, a lot of people have done this where they have come into the United States as a visitor, but then they decide to enroll in a college or a university and get credit. This is also a violation, because there is a visa that is designated for enrolling in school, known as the F1 student visa. And we will talk about this in another video in more detail. But for now, it's very important to understand that you cannot receive any kind of credit in the United States if you are on a visitor visa. The next thing that you should avoid on a visitor visa is committing a criminal activity. This is also very common. If you're in the United States as a visitor and you commit a crime, this can actually prevent you from being able to apply for a green card in the future, because your criminal history will actually come up whenever you are applying for an immigration benefit. So you don't want to do that as well. So what to take away from this video today is that when you are coming to the United States to visit, you want to be sure on what activities you can and cannot do while you are here, because you certainly do not want to prevent yourself from being able to apply for another visa or be able to adjust your status to a legal permanent resident in the future. So it's very important to consult with a competent immigration attorney. Now, I know many of you out there have similar situations to what I was just discussing. So if you do have a personal case and you want to discuss it with me, I encourage you to call my office or send me an email with the information that's written below, and I will be sure to get back to you and have a full immigration consultation so we can talk about all the details of your case. Because it's very important to know that not everybody's case is the same, and there are factors in your case that might be different from someone else. So I will give you full and honest legal advice as to your case. And if you do like this video and you feel that the information was helpful, I encourage all of you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, make some comments on the information that we discussed, and even suggest some topics you would like me to discuss. And I'll see you next time.